Today, Africa has the youngest population on the planet, with more than 400 million young people aged between the ages of 15 and 35 years, according to the African Union. 70% of sub-Saharan Africa is currently under the age of 30. That's extremely young. Not only this, but the advancements in trade, the boom in innovation capacity and efforts, the beautiful smiles and energy of our people, all show that the possibility looms large in Africa and on the African continent. But like anywhere else in the world, and with anyone else, if we are going to embrace and step into this transformation, we must let go of outdated perspectives about who and what we are and can do as Africans, and then grab hold of new ways of seeing, doing, and being. The ReImagine Africa series is made up of short, sharp conversations about unlearning who we are as Africans. And by Africans, I mean those of us who live in Africa, and also those of us who consider ourselves being Africans as well, so that we can become who our destiny now calls us to be and who the world needs us to be today. Today's episode, then, is titled The Danger of Tribalism. What's your tribe? And you know, if you're from Africa or if you've been to Africa, just how big a role our tribes and where we come from and where our people or our group of people, indigenous groups of people come from, and how that defines our identity. Speaking just myself, I am a Zulu or Zulu girl. That means I'm part of the Zulu clan or tribe. And for us, there's a lot of pride there, especially with regards to what that means, what the Zulu warrior energy spirit means. And oftentimes, this is a beautiful thing that helps to inform how we show up in the world. But very often, in the comments below what your thoughts are. Where have you noticed this? What type of restrictions does tribalism create when it comes to building a stronger Africa and empowering Africans? So I want to just start with this perspective here, is that the reason why tribalism is something we've held on to for a very long time is because it brings across the idea of preservation. It means that if I stay a part of my tribe, whatever that looks like to me, it means I'm preserving my survival. Remember, we spoke about survival earlier on. I'm preserving my survival, and I'm a part of a group that's going to look out for me, made up of people that I can look out for as well. But what happens, and I'd love to know if you've noticed this, but what happens when we stick to these tribes too much and we don't expose ourselves to contradicting or challenging ideas or people from different groups with different perspectives, is that we get stuck in what's called echo chambers. Now, this idea of an echo chamber as an analogy is that it's being in a space where you're consistently surrounded by people who say the same things as you, say them in the same way as you, believe the same things, execute in the same way, so that all you're ever exposed to is exactly what you believe. If you can think of it as a cycle, it's that you're always being fed the same information. And unfortunately, I've seen this so many times where we think we're being exposed to new information, but really we're stuck in echo chambers with people who believe the same things that we do. So we're just always having conversations that don't challenge us to grow. Is this your experience? Is this something you can relate to? Or do you know of a situation where maybe someone you know has been exposed to something like this? I know that echo chambers are a real thing. And every now and again, I have situations where I think, oh my goodness, so many of my friends are a part of the same introvert tribe, or are this part of the same, say, for example, star sign, if you believe in that, in astrology in that sense as well, or are a part of maybe are all of color, or people of color, or there are whatever tribe that you fall into, you find a lot of the time, if you look at your network, that those people are in the same tribe as you in so many categories. And so I want to challenge you to do that. So now let's move on. Let's move on. So what happens with the idea of tribalism is that we end up getting robbed of perspectives that could challenge us, of cross-tribal, if we can call them, or cross-perspective realities or ideas and insights. There is so much wealth in a variation of perspectives. If you look at the examples we've seen of organizations that have been thrashed because of marketing they put out that shows that their teams are not diverse, you can tell just how important it is to have different perspectives, different voices, different backgrounds in the room when decisions are made. So are you perpetuating those stereotypes? Are you perpetuating the ideas of these echo chambers, where in a world where diversity and inclusion is king, you are perpetuating this echo chamber perspective? So this is an opportunity for you to introspect and ask yourself in what ways you might be contributing to that. So let's get started. The way that we always address the conversation as part of ReImagine Africa is we split our videos into three. So we start off with awareness. And with awareness, we just ask ourselves some questions. It's always question-based. I believe strongly in questions, and that questions help us to probe deeper into our thinking. And then secondly, we look at action. What can we do? What is the thing that we need to relearn as we unlearn? Because unlearning is paired with relearning. When we create new habits, then the old habits then get sort of pruned away or less dominant or default in the brain. So that's the second part. And then the third part that we'll look into is how do we keep it going? I work a lot with transitions, change, and behavior change needs consistency, whether you want to hear it or not. It's all about how do we keep those things going. So that's the third part. Now let's go right into awareness. Now, with regards to raising awareness, I'd like you to ask yourself the following questions. The first one, what tribes am I a part of? Now, I'd like you to just make a list. Feel free to just make a list. It's better if you write it down. Then, you engage in the process a lot more. What tribes are you a part of? So think about all of the boxes or the categories in which you put yourself. Maybe you can go, okay, when I think about myself as an individual, I go, okay, so I think of myself as a woman. I think of myself as a teacher. I think of myself as a daughter. All of those categories in which you place yourself, personality-wise, physical, things relating to your body, I mean, or anything else, personality traits as well. Think about all of those boxes that you put yourself in. And then just write them down. No judgment. Don't judge yourself around this. Just put them down. Let those flow. Think about when someone says, hey, nice to meet you, Adebayo. Can you introduce yourself to us? Think about what the things are that you say when someone asks you that. You go, well, I'm just an ordinary guy, you know, whatever it is. And then you shoot off with the rest of the stuff. So think about what those tribes are that you consider yourself to be a part of. That's the first one. And then the second one is, what subtle things do I say about other people? Do I say or believe about other people who are a part of a different tribe from the one I'm part of? Now, this is really, really important. I can't stress this one enough. It's really, really important. And it needs you to be introspective and honest with yourself. Don't worry, no one's going to see this. I'm not asking you to submit this. So think about it for yourself, because it's through this awareness that you're able to detect where some of the subtle hints are. So ask yourself, what subtle things do I believe? So let me give you an example with myself. I did say earlier on that I put myself in the introvert tribe. And so if I put myself in the introvert tribe, maybe some of the subtle things that I believe about extroverts is that extroverts are too chatty. Maybe I believe that extroverts don't actually know what they're talking about. Maybe I believe that extroverts need to quieten down. Whatever it is, ask yourself, what might you believe? Those are examples. I don't want all the extroverts coming to bite me. But those are examples of how sometimes we carry all of these perspectives and these ideas around people who fall into other tribes. And all we're doing is we're raising awareness. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge other people as they answer these. But look at you. Remember, we're trying to unlearn tribalism and relearn this collaboration, or this idea of cross-tribal collaboration. Okay, and then the third question you can ask yourself, how open am I? How open am I to learning? How open am I to exploring? How open am I to asking questions and to engaging? One of the big things I often advise my clients around unlearning is put yourself in a situation where you don't really know what's going on. And one of the best ways to do that is mingle with people who are not in the same group as you and not in the same tribe as you, to use our word for today, or individuals that are from a different place from you, maybe a different community, a different township, a different suburb, or a different country. Just ensure that you've got that perspective shift so that you're always challenged to see things in ways that you don't necessarily see them. So those are the three questions you can ask yourself from today as you start to raise awareness of where you could be contributing to tribalism yourself. Second thing that we look at is action. What can we do? So if we are unlearning tribalism, one of the things we can apply is honoring. Honor. I love this word. It's one of my favorite words recently, to honor. Goodness, I love this word. And the reason why I say honoring is the thing that we need to relearn is because it's two-pronged. The first part of honor is honoring yourself. Now, a lot of the time when we think about unlearning tribalism, we think, okay, so I must get rid of my tribe, or I must move out of my tribe. No, not necessarily. So honor is really in two parts. The first part is honor yourself and the tribes that you belong to with appreciation. So appreciate the fact that maybe you're not the chattiest person. Maybe you have a little bit of what some people might call social awkwardness, like myself. Whatever it is, honor that. Honor you. Honor the tribes you belong to. Honor the fact that maybe you belong to the tribe of people who live in rural areas, or maybe you feel like you're part of the tribe of people who have freckled skin. Whatever it is, those little categories that you've put yourself in, honor that. Give that respect. Don't seek to reject it, but honor it. Give it its space and its platform as things that have built you and helped you have a sense of belonging, because that's important. Don't praise them, but just honor them and tip your hats off to them, so to speak. And then the second part of honor is honor others. So honor yourself in your own boxes and then honor others. Honor other people as other individuals have conversations with you around what boxes they put themselves in or what tribes they feel they belong to. Honor that. When someone gives you an opportunity to see into which boxes they put themselves in, or they go, I don't actually like that. Maybe, let's say, for example, you go to a restaurant with a friend and the friend says, why are you ordering, maybe, let's say, for example, you really like jollof. Maybe you just crazy jollof fan. And then your friend goes, why are you ordering jollof? Oh my goodness. At first you might be like, what's really important is for you to start with honoring yourself. Honor your love for the things that you love and that you are part of the jollof tribe. And that's fine. And then also, secondly, honor them for choosing not to be part of that tribe. Because remember, each individual is acting out of their own willpower, out of their freedom of choice. As much as we may not like it sometimes, but everyone has that. And we need to learn to honor that. So honoring the other person will mean accepting that that's what they choose. And then respecting, giving them the space to execute and practicalize or play out their tribe or their beliefs in whatever way they choose to do so. So if you're having that conversation with your friend and they say that, honoring them might look like going, oh, okay, I enjoy it. It's actually really delicious. If you ever want to try it, I'll be here to give you a taste, but I promise it actually is very good. That's it. Not, how dare you, you're not my friend anymore, or whatever it is, which is very dramatic. But so honoring them would take that form, so to speak. Okay, so that's the action. We need to relearn honoring ourselves and then honoring others. Now, keeping it up is the last thing that we do in the ReImagine Africa series. Wow, this video's gone on for so long. Okay, now how do we keep that up? When we change behaviors, and I say this every episode, but I do think it's really important. When we change behaviors, it's one thing to be introduced to the new behavior, to the new pattern, to the new habit. But unless we keep it up, then we don't build the new habit, because building means consistency. Now, how do we keep that honoring others up? Two things that I've got here that I'd like to challenge you with, and let me know in the comments if you've tried this and how it's gone. I'd love to hear from you. Every single month or every week, it depends how often you can do it, maybe every 2 weeks if you feel comfortable with that. Every month, assess your network. Look at the people you have around you. These can be people that you have in your life, in your day-to-day life. So people you interact with physically, people, maybe your immediate family, other individuals that live around you. It could be individuals in your professional network, people at work, people you are connected to on LinkedIn, people you are connected to personally, people you're connected with on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on all the other apps that you are a part of. I want you to look at all of those particular platforms and ask yourself, what are the common themes between all of these people? So let me say, for example, I look at my Instagram. I'm quite active on Instagram. So I look at my Instagram and I go, okay. And maybe I go to the part where it says following, all the people that I'm following, all the people that are following, or the people that are following me. And I go, okay, what are the common themes between most of these people? Are they all people who maybe are working in finance? That's interesting. About 80% of the people that I'm following are in finance. I didn't know that. You get a lot of insights from doing this. Maybe another thing might be, oh my goodness, 90% of the people in my network are women. That's another thing you might look at as well. Or they define themselves as women, rather, let me say, or they put themselves in that category. And so as you scroll through your networks, the people you know, the people you chat to every day, you'll see what the common themes are. And that will be a big idea around the thing we spoke about earlier on, the echo chambers. Are you living in an echo chamber where you're always hearing the same thing that you already believe? And so you're just in this constant loop of, not craziness, but you're in this constant loop of hearing the same stuff, saying the same stuff. You never grow, you're never challenged. Cool. The second thing to keep it up that I would encourage you to think about, once you're looking at those individuals on the list of people you're following or follow you that you interact with, the other thing you can ask yourself is, which category is absent? Which category is not there? Maybe once I've looked through and I go, oh my goodness, I'm not actually connected with anyone who's in supply chain, for example, or anyone who's in logistics. Oh my goodness, my network is completely void of people between the age of 18 and 25. Whatever it is, find where the gaps are and then reach out. That's the biggest challenge. Once you see where all the gaps are, you start with that awareness and then reach out. Reach out to people who can challenge you to shift your perspective and unlearn the sense of tribalism that sometimes we don't even know that we're practicing. Because like I started off in the beginning, it's important to understand that tribalism does not necessarily have to be restricted to ethnicity, religion, race, and other such categories. But it's all about the different boxes that we put ourselves in, the different categories that we group ourselves in, and we say, these are my people, these are my peeps, these are the people that I relate to. What are all of those? Let's raise our awareness, let's action and build a great perspective of honoring ourselves, but also honoring others that fall within other tribes. And then let's keep it up by consistently shifting our networks to bring in people who are not as dominant in our networks, but also to just be very careful about whether or not we are living in an echo chamber. Because in an echo chamber, all you ever get is an echo. It's your voice, your voice, your voice, your voice. And then you wonder why you're not changing perspective, why you're not innovating, why you're not being creative, and why you're not being challenged to grow. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of ReImagine Africa. It's always such a pleasure. I can't wait to read all of your amazing comments, to hear how you've practiced this, what you've noticed in the past, and just your experiences. I love hearing from all of you. It's always such a pleasure. I honor all of you for honoring me and taking time to watch these videos. I don't take that lightly. I absolutely adore you. If you have any suggestions of future titles, themes that you'd like us to explore in the ReImagine Africa series, just let me know. I'm here. You know, I answer all of the comments if I can. So let me know. I'd love to hear from you if you have any suggestions. Okay, this is our longest episode by far, so I'm going to end it now. Thank you so much. Do reach out either via DM on Instagram, or my details, even details to my website, are all at the bottom in the description if you do want to reach out to me or work with me in any capacity. I look forward to serving you again in the 4th episode of the ReImagine Africa series. But for now, it's goodbye. Look after yourself. Mwah. The Unlearners. Learn, change, grow. Learn, change, grow. The Unlearners. The Unlearners. The Unlearners. Learn, change, grow.